Good morning. It is 2:47 a.m. I arrived home around 1:30. So I've spent the last hour and a half writing this poem. That's my birthday. My birthday's always been a very suicidal time in my life. Every year. I don't really have any more words to explain it, so I'm just gonna read this spoken word I wrote. At the ripe age of 25, and still have accomplished nothing with my life. I was supposed to have helped people by this time, but still I sit on the sidelines. Keep on talking without any action, make plans and gain some traction, hit a bump in the road and steer yourself off the cliff, crash and burn as your neck turns stiff. Non-profit, podcast, YouTube channel, interviews, guests, victims, panels. I wanted to speak out against abuse. I wanted people to see that they can choose what they get to do with their life, that their past isn't something that gets to define their future, their dreams, their hopes, their passions, their thoughts, their words, their perspectives and actions. I wanted to address depression and suicide. I wanted people to release the demons they keep trapped inside, the parts of themselves that they're too ashamed to show, the parts of themselves that they barely know. A platform to share stories, a beacon to shine light, a dawn raised in glory, a fist raised to fight. This was my dream. This was my hope. I thought I could believe, but I'm at the end of my rope. And every day that rope looks more like a noose. And nooses start to look like trophies when all you do is lose. The voices inside continue to torment my mind. I believe them to speak truth when I know that they're all lies. And it's been like this since I was a kid playing pretend. I promise that if you asked all my childhood friends, a common phrase that we like to say was, "Oh great, Danny's depressed again." I remember lying in my bed before I was even 10, thinking about how much of a failure I've been. I thought that the world would be much better off without me in it, and my entire life has been me grasping for the light in my darkened vision. Before I turned 18, I wanted to be great, but that pressure only led me to break. For some, pressure makes diamonds. For me, pressure became confinement. And my 18th birthday was the day I wanted to die the most, having panic attacks at my party, not knowing how to host. I didn't have a word for anxiety. I just felt the sensations inside of me, the weight of my self-hate just groping me violently. I was told to pray, so I went on so many walks. I cried and I screamed and I pleaded to God. I begged him to wash such a shit-stained sinner. I felt worthless if I wasn't a winner, but religion only served to crush me even more, being told I was a bad person to my core, that I came out wrong, that I was bound for hell, a perfect concoction for a kid to hate himself. Fast forward from that birthday 8 more years. I keep on talking, but I still live in fear. I'm afraid of your judgment. I'm afraid of your rejection. I'm afraid of falling flat on my face and there being no redemption. I'm afraid of being imperfect. I'm afraid of being flawed. But most of all, I'm afraid of being a fraud. How can I help others when I can't help myself? How can I preach heaven when I'm drowning in hell? How can I talk about defeating depression when I still battle it every day? How can I get on a stage with no victories to back what I say? Because every time I think I've won, the depression comes back around, catches me off guard and beats me to the ground, bloodied and bruised, battered and used, molested by my mind. I'm the victim of my own abuse. Fuck no, this is way too happy. I'm the victim of my own abuse, and the cuts on my waist were from a knife in the hands of my own. I was assaulted in the dark, cornered and alone. I was followed and chased down dark alleyways. My attacker made sure that people were far, far away. Took my phone and made sure I had nobody to call. Grabbed my wrist and pinned me to the wall. Stabbed me to death in a beautiful crimson mess as I laid on the floor gasping for breath. The light leaves my eyes under the blackened skies, and a twisted smile creeps across my face so wide. I let out a maniacal laugh as I breathed my last, as this punishment was one of which I had begged for and asked. I did it to myself. I didn't ask for help. I pushed you all away until I pushed myself into a grave. I'm a slave to my own mind, and I can't seem to find a ship that doesn't inevitably sink and plunge me under the brink. The waters crash and continue to rage. I build another ship hoping to be saved, thinking that this time it will be different, only to find that I'm still ignorant. Depression continues to knock at my door. My wrist slid out as I lay bleeding on the floor. A fool am I to think I could offer others a place of salvation when I'm still trapped inside of my own damnation. Will I ever beat this? To all my friends, I'm sorry for not texting back. I struggle to do even just that. 1,000 unread messages. I see that notification bubble every single day, hoping that I'll finally have the courage to change. It's not personal, Promise, I just struggle to want to live, if I'm being honest. Maybe that's the answer, being honest with where I'm at, instead of trying to put on a show and play pretend, instead of demanding this curated, perfect, pristine being who must smile for the camera and dance for the screen. I've been masking for so long, I've forgotten what it's like to show myself authentically and shine my light. Maybe this is where my story starts, where I stop living in fear and cowering in the dark, when I start loving myself instead of devouring my parts, with a genuine smile and an open heart. Maybe there was nothing I ever had to be or do or need or become. Maybe I could finally let myself feel instead of going numb. Maybe I could be honest about my struggles and my pain instead of worrying if people will take my authenticity the wrong way. Maybe my words can aid somebody else who's similar in ways and won't ask for help. This is for the failures, the freaks, the people who were told they were too much, for the frauds who told to fuck off, who have never felt like enough, for those drowning in the dark, grasping for light. I know what it's like to want to give up the fight. I haven't found the answer yet, but I know for sure that asking for help is always a cure. So reach out. Fuck. Alright. Time to wake up in 2 hours and go to work. Good night. Happy birthday.